Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for that last tag. My name is Elliot Edward. I am new to stand-up comedy. Before this, I had just been sitting down. I'm a big fan of wordplay, much to the disgust of a lot of my friends. They've had to suffer the punishment for decades now. It's true. I was hanging out with my friend Kenneth the other day, and he had just gotten off of work from a place called Tent City. He was in a bad mood. He was not happy. He was all riled up. He goes, "Oh my God. Oh, it's so crazy working there. So tight energy, such bad customers." He goes, "The intensity of working at Tent City is intense, Kent said, as his intent was to vent the tension in the gym. I just joined a D&D campaign, and Dungeons and Dragons fans here. That's what's up. Okay, so when someone says, "Hand me that dice," and they're talking about one, it makes me want to die. Used to be a delivery driver, and one day the company had provided for us a meal. It was like pork chop, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, and it was great. And Sandy from the copy shop had walked in and said, "Hey, you guys want my corn on the cob? I don't want it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's actually a good thing you offered it to us, because if we had just taken it, it would have been a case of cops and robbers." Yeah, you get it, yeah. Not too long after that, no, the same week, she comes in and she goes, "Hey, who here knows that they're the manliest?" And I stand up, full confidence, I'm like, "I pluck my own nose hairs." And she goes, "What?" With the same confidence, if not more, dead in the face, I said, "I pluck my own nose hairs." She goes, I said, "Who here used to be, or who here goes to Manlius?" I'm like, "Oh, Manlius, Illinois. That's Jake." So from her perspective, she walks in and goes, "Hey, who here goes to Manlius?" And I look her in the face and I go, "I pluck my own nose hairs." Twice. I wanted to dress up for the night, a special occasion. I'm happy to be here. I wound up inadvertently dressing like Weird Al, which, take it or leave it, I love the guy. I made my girlfriend listen to Weird Al, and yeah. Not to give away too many personal details, but in like 2017, she was abducted by a guy named Arthur McGillicuddy, and he left her, like tied to a chair in the desert. And she says Weird Al is even worse. Can you believe it? I told my friend Jake at work once, I want to get a tattoo back here of a frog taking a bath, and he goes, "I'm so glad you're not in charge of other people, Elliot." I'm like, "I know, thank God for abortion, right?" He's like, "Dude, I meant like a manager." Well, either way. So this last one I'm going to tell you is a story. It's a story about how I improved a hostage situation by masturbating. So I had an apartment with a couple of guys about 13, 14 years ago, and one guy brought his girlfriend home to stay with us. Didn't think anything of it, and I thought I was alone in the apartment one day. I thought he had taken her home. And at the time, I was being catfished by a long-distance girlfriend. You know what it's like. And when that's the case, phone sex is your best friend, and when you have the house to yourself, phone sex is your best friend. And you enjoy yourself, you get into it, you get loud, and then you hang up the call, and you're like, "Wow, those kids in the apartment downstairs are playing their video games really loud. Sound like men yelling at each other, shields and short swords clashing. I don't think that's a 5-year-old video game. And I trace the sound throughout the apartment, and I see a closed door where my roommate's door is, and I'm like, oh. Charlene? Yeah? You've been here the whole time? Yeah. I don't even remember how I moved on from that. I think I just went upstairs and smoked a shitload of weed to forget. Turns out, years later, the third guy that we lived with meets up with Charlene in like Idaho, not Illinois, completely random. It was the craziest thing, and they get to have a conversation. Turns out, she was being held at our apartment against her will. We didn't know this, but dude was just refusing to take her home in the state that she lived in. It became a whole thing, but somehow our interaction brought some amount of levity to the situation for her, and she said that it actually made it tolerable in some kind of way. I don't know. But just the fact that I knew that I could help by doing my thing should be enough inspiration for all of you to do your thing. My name's